I am telling you, I was in some sort of denial about air quality कि ये सब ठीक है, होता है थोड़ा बहुत खांसी वगैरह. मेरे को ना एक हफ्ते से बहुत ज्यादा सर्दी थी, ये था, मेरे को समझ नहीं आ रहा. आई थॉट मे बी जस्ट सीजनल. एंड संडे, येस्टरडे संडे, हाँ, तो मैं लिटरली ऐसे एंड आई जस्ट वर्कड आउट अ वेरी नाइस ट्रांजिशन आल्सो. आई वर्किंग लाइक ओ शिट, दिस इज लाइफ. सो एनीवे, तो मैं ऐसे ऐसे यहीं बैठा था. आई वाज वर्किंग एंड देन आई एम लाइक, I blew my nose and I see specks of blood in it, right? And फिर मेरे तुरंत दिमाग में ऐसे 1970s अमिताभ बच्चन मूवी चल रही है कि लाइक OTB हो गया कुछ ऐसा. फिर देन आई वाज लाइक, नो, दिस इज प्रोबेबली बैड एयर क्वालिटी. एंड मैंने ना ये स्विगी से, ठीक है, इंस्टामार्ट से एयर प्यूरिफाई ऑर्डर किया 5,000 रुपए का. लाइक अमेजोन में देखा वो एक दिन ले रहा था, ये 10 मिनट में देगा. तो आई वाज लाइक, यही मैं, आई एम द प्रॉब्लम.
You are the problem, yeah.
तो मैंने ऑर्डर कर लिया ऐसे, वो एयर प्यूरिफायर आया. मैं मजाक नहीं कर रहा हूँ, 15 मिनट बाद मुझे सांस आने लग गई. रात को मैं इतनी अच्छी नींद से सोया. एंड आई वाज लाइक, आई वाज नॉट अनवेल एट ऑल.
Wait, you're telling me you got an air purifier this year now?
This year, Manje, I got it yesterday.
Oh,
my air purifier is less than 40 hours old.
Oh, wow. So I have been having air purifier for a few years now. What happened with me this time is that I had like I don't know why, but it was getting worse and worse. I have never had this bad of a cough before. So मुझे भी वही हुआ कि शायद TB हो गया होगा या whatever. So I went to a doctor. Right? And the doctor gave me this fatalistic ass answer. It's like, you are allergic to pollutants. I'm like, okay, what is the solution? It's like, tonic do, or if you really want to, stop breathing. I'm like, what? It's like, और क्या ही बोल सकते? I think the doctor has gone into this fatalistic mode himself, which is like, हाँ, मतलब क्या ही कर सकते हैं, अभी है तो अब ऐसे ही जीना पड़ेगा. I'm like, okay, man. Yeah. But I'm very shook that you got your air purifier last. But good start to 2026, Ravi.
No, but here's the thing. I haven't lived here for years. I moved in I moved 1st, 2nd November. तो मैंने 2 महीने निकाले. And so I got one air purifier. अब मैं उसी को खोल के अलग अलग कमरे में लेके जा रहा हूँ. मैं जिस कमरे में जा रहा हूँ वहाँ पर
full air purifier experience आ रहा है, which is nice.
एक और खरीदना पड़ेगा इस बार. देखता हूँ Blinkit से लूंगा. So like I'll spread the money around.
This was great transition, Ravi, because thank you so much. You told me. Guys, hello, welcome. This is Professor Ravikant, who we have been asking for a while. I mean, you have been asking for a while to come on this channel, and I think 2 months ago, me and him also realized, why didn't we talk to each other yet? I think it was just one of those things, and then we happened to meet at an event very randomly. So I thought, yeah, why not start the year with him? Ravikant, do you want to introduce yourself first? And I will keep showing your book.
Oh, nice. Hi everybody. For those of you who don't know me, and I always assume people don't know me, my name's Ravikant. I'm a professor, and I do a little bit of a dumb podcast called the Mind Your Buffalo podcast. And I've just written this. I've written this book which Meghnad is showing. I'm assuming what can only be a second screen, because it's out of frame from where I'm seeing it. It's this book called Meet the Savarnas. Millennials whose mediocrity broke everything. Yes. So it's basically a caste commentary on elite Savarna society. Caste is usually thought of from the point of view of the marginalized, but like very rarely do we study upper caste cultures. This was an attempt to see the world from their point of view and how it is. So the book's out there, my work's out there, and I run this, like I basically put my stuff out under this handle called Buffalo Intellectual. So that's me.
Yes.
So that's the introduction. You didn't introduce me. You're like, yeah, people have been waiting for you. Like I'm some goddamn Amitabh Bachchan. Like, sabko like phada poster.
A lot of people already know you here because I think they also follow your channel and follow your Twitter especially. But for those of you who didn't, I always ask my guests to introduce themselves. I don't introduce them because what happens is that they like I did for our panel also. Like, I mean, just introduce yourselves. I mean, like it's better that way because it's also contextual to the conversation, right? That's why why I thought it's important. And
Also, your audience now knows how dated I am because like my go-to hero reference is Bachchan.
Bachchan. No, I'm same category. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Also, there's a lot of appreciation in chat for your beard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Very good beard, Ravi. And Pradhan here is saying two favorite podcasters in one place. Thanks, Meghnad. Arey, see, I told you, hey, pata hai logo ko. But guys,
Okay.
we have gathered here to do some deep chats today. But especially, I wanted to talk to Ravi because there is this very important issue doing the rounds, which is the gig worker strike and the reactions that came from what I will charitably describe as LinkedIn bros, the CEOs of Eternal and all sorts of things, and also their fan following about how they are justifying gig work and all the things. I have read many think pieces in the last few years, but I thought that. I will take you through some of those also, Ravi, because there are some very interesting opinions from both sides, etc. But I wanted to talk to you because you have a chapter in this, which is about Savarna economics, and I found it very fascinating. I think looking at it through that lens makes most sense to me right now. So overall, do you have any reaction to what is going on? You've been following it, I assume.
Yeah, I actually wrote a piece on it, which like I usually write for the Quint. They do like they put all my stuff behind the paywall, so it's a great gig. Is
Okay.
that way I won't ever get into trouble because like. But shout out to them for giving that. So I have some reactions to this. Um, so the strike itself is something completely different. Like that. That's like a whole completely different um, discussion because then one has to also think about like gig workers trying to unionize and trying to do this as a form of a request as a form of collective bargaining. India has a long history of uh, excuse me, this kind of urban protests, right? And like the first thing that came to my mind is actually sanitation workers unions. In fact, in Mumbai, for instance, sanitation workers collectives have taken Brihan Mumbai municipality corporation, whatever, to high court. Like in actually city after city, you have case studies where sanitation workers have come together to protest things like they are classified not as sanitation worker but as a volunteer or something like that, or like I think it was a case from Baroda, if I'm not mistaken. Baroda hi tha shayad, could be wrong. Jahan par, so if you work for 240 days consecutively, you become like not a temporary worker. So they were given 90-day contracts, no chutti, work for 90 days, then they're very kind, 91st day is chutti, and 92nd day becomes the new first day of the new contract. So people have worked for 10 years on 90-day contracts, right? So all kinds of these malpractices kind of go on, and ये इसीलिए होता है क्योंकि in that system the municipal corporators, right? Municipal contract is a huge source of money, and it is the factory laboratory from which urban politicians emerge. So like it is the worker who gets like kind of sidelined in these kind of discussions. So there is a history of uh, you know uh,
Unionization?
not unionization. Of what I was trying to go for is how to circumvent labor laws. Like I'll give you another
Okay.
very common example,
You're
which
saying there's
if
a
you have,
there's a history of boycotts in general, which leads to
no,
some
it's not
solid.
boycott. It is, see, boycott comes later.
Okay, okay, go on.
बॉयकॉट तो बहुत दूर की बात है, वो तो रिएक्शन पे आ गया. आई एम जस्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट द मुद्दा,
Okay.
वर्कर्स राइट्स, राइट?
Okay.
और बहुत लिमिटेड कॉन्टेक्स्ट से बोल रहा हूँ. somebody who works in the labor research will probably know much better than me. मैं बस experiential point से बोल रहा हूँ. और even something like many of your listeners might be still in college or just graduated or workplaces. आपके किसी भी वर्क प्लेस में आप जाओ, वहाँ की सिक्योरिटी और वहाँ का जो क्लीनिंग स्टाफ है, दे आर नॉट एम्प्लॉइज ऑफ द कंपनी, दे आर आउटसोर्स्ड. तो वो
Yep.
ठेकेदार
Yep.
के पास है ना. तो every single one of those workers usually is very precarious. They could have worked in that organization for 7-8 years, but जिस दिन ठेकेदार को बुरा लगेगा वो properly उसको out कर देगा. And that person's capacity to get another job like that is even more precarious. So in many which ways,
Why is that? Wouldn't experience count and then they can jump from one
No,
gig
so
to the other gig?
I'll tell you, like, for instance, let's say universities, right? University campuses are often out of the city area or whatever, right? तो वहां पर जो भी 500 लोग आ रहे हैं काम करने के लिए या 400 लोग आ रहे हैं, कोई क्लीनर है, कोई गार्डनर है, कोई ये है, देर ऑल बेसिकली सोर्स्ड फ्रॉम द सेम विलेज काइंड ऑफ और लाइक अ क्लस्टर ऑफ विलेजेस से आ रहा है. तो वो क्लस्टर ऑफ विलेज में जो वर्कर है और जो ठेकेदार है उनका एक कास्ट इक्वेशन है, क्योंकि
Right.
ठेकेदार भी वहीं से ही है या
Correct.
उसका कोई कजन या वगैरह है. सो नाउ इफ आई हैव रन फाउल विद द ठेकेदार, नाउ अब मुझे नहीं मिलेगा.
Got
राइट?
it.
तो हाँ, या तो आप पूरा जाओ, शहर बदलो, जाओ बॉम्बे जाओ, वहां पर ट्राई लग करो, विच इज डिफरेंट, which is the thing. So these kind of practices to bypass these things already exist. Now gig economy में ये एक इंटरेस्टिंग इन्होंने एक डाला है कि ये तो गिग है, बेसिकली you're freelancers, right? And we have some rules of the platform, but you're not a permanent employee,
Yes.
right? But how are you not a employee if like literally like so many of the you don't have the freedom of a freelancer, because you'll get penalized. That's the biggest one, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
अगर तुम फ्रीलांसर हो, तुम जैसे उबर ड्राइवर है, तुम कैंसिल करो, तुम्हारी मर्जी है, तुम्हारी गाड़ी, that's the promise of gig, right? But if you cancel it, I will bar you from, or I'll penalize you, I'll cut your money, or I'll not give you good rights.
Yeah.
In which case you've made it transactional. So it kind of conceptually, मैं legally और labor के point of view से जा ही नहीं रहा, those are not my areas of expertise. Conceptually, this sets up a exploitative system.
Right.
अब इस चीज के ऊपर 5-6 साल से बात हो रही है, right? There are people who track this kind of things, and like पार्लियामेंट पे बात हो चुकी है, स्टेट असेंबलीज में बात हो चुकी है, एग्रीगेटर्स के ऊपर, कभी दिल्ली, कभी कर्नाटका में.
There are draft laws also, draft rules floating around everything.
तो the strike होगा या होंगे और भी होगा, ये this is not surprising. What we are really talking about is कि strike हुई, strike actually 25 दिसंबर में, फिर वो उसको extend किया गया, फिर lots of group joined in. That's when Twitter took note.
Yeah.
And then when someone like Kamra and will come and write, then it becomes a discourse issue.
Yes.
तो मजे की बात ये है कि Deepinder Goyal is responding to the Twitter discourse. He's not responding to his workers.
True. I was going to come to that, because honestly, if you look at the timeline, right? I think the strike was announced much in advance. Okay, it was
Much
like,
in advance.
मतलब like एक महीने से चल रहा था कि strike होने वाला है. The company said nothing during that time. Then 25th को there was one strike that happened, and I think it impacted them, because उसके बाद immediately they started saying that, oh no, we are going to give festival incentives on the 31st. So they essentially increased the pay, and then they kept claiming that oh no, ये तो regular है, we do this all the time. They don't. I checked with people, they don't. This was a definite reaction, but they didn't want to say that it was a reaction. Still didn't talk to workers, by the way. Then on the 31st, the day goes by. I think statistics came out. Deepinder only put it out. 4.7 lakh workers worked all the things. But there was a considerable amount of people who did not participate also. There were some sections, etc. Now what is happening is that there is this whole narrative spin that is being given to this whole strike. One, to say boycotts don't work. Second, to say that, actually, nobody really participated. What do you think of both of these things first?
So firstly, I could be very wrong, but shouldn't the call have been order more today?
Order more today?
If workers are striking, so their capacity to deliver is less than optimum. If you clog their systems with more orders, then actually it has a much more serious impact than like worker भी कम है, आप order भी कम कर रहे हो. So in a way, the system is actually, so I didn't fully understand why boycotting on the day the workers are striking, how that was going to, the whole reason they chose 31st is that everyone will order and you will feel the pinch. So conceptually, I could be wrong, maybe somebody knows some inside out of it, which I don't, but conceptually मुझे तो वो समझ में नहीं आया, but ठीक है, हो सकता है उसका कोई reason. Secondly, this idea that boycotts don't work is, ये idea, like, पहली बात, कोई भी हम ऐसे देख लेते हैं, हमको समझना चाहिए कौन बोल रहा है. वर्कर बोल रहा है जो स्ट्राइक कर रहा है, या ट्विटर पे बैठा तुम और मैं बोल रहा है. राइट. अब हमारा क्या है, ये जो बोल रहा है बॉयकॉट्स डोंट वर्क, दीज आर पीपल usually coming from elite backgrounds, urban savarna liberal spaces, who have zero stake in the whole thing,
Right.
who who mistake social struggles to be some sort of a reality TV or a cinematic event. तो उसको दिखना है कि मैं बॉयकॉट किया, उधर स्विगी जल गया. ठीक है, टीपू आके रो रहा है, दीपिंदर गोयल स्विगी के जोमेटो के, क्या तुमने मेरा बॉयकॉट कर दिया, मेरा मेरा बाल बच्चा बिक गया. वो देखना है उनको, लाइक उनको वो एक सिनेमैटिक एक रेजोल्यूशन चाहिए.
Yes, yes.
But my point fundamentally is कि in the context of the gig workers especially, people want to see a cinematic resolution come out instantly.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why boycotts don't work. But
या मतलब
also,
बेसिकली इंस्टेंट ग्रेटिफिकेशन चाहिए. जैसे तुमको 10 मिनट में ग्रोसरी चाहिए, वैसे ही इफेक्ट भी, इम्पैक्ट भी 10 मिनट में चाहिए.
प्लस इम्पैक्ट तो बहुत तरीके से हो सकता है ना. कंपनी उस दिन तो नहीं गिरेगी. क्वार्टरली अर्निंग्स होती है, वीकली होती है, एनुअल बैलेंस शीट्स होते हैं. वो कैसे प्लान कर रहे हैं, उनकी स्ट्रैटेजी होगी. कंपनीज आर नेवर स्टैटिक, उनका भी ग्रोथ प्लान होगा. कुछ होंगे उनके पैरामीटर्स कि हम ऐसे डेवलप करेंगे, वैसे डेवलप करेंगे. आपको क्या पता आपकी कौन सी चीज कहां पर उनके कौन से प्लान को इम्पैक्ट कर रही है, कौन सी ग्रोथ, क्या फंडिंग राउंड आ रहा है. So this idea that boycotts don't work, I'm not saying they work, but I think it's, you can't sit on social media and figure out whether it works or not.
Ravikant, one of the things that I have been thinking about a lot is the relevance of gig economy in current just larger economy today. Okay, before we get to dissing Deepu, I think it's important to sort of set the context for this. My understanding of this, again, correct me if I'm wrong, is like it's like the corporate India has launched a Manrega for everyone. Like it's a very selective, very weird form of Manrega, but it is essentially government and our industry and everybody else has failed at giving us jobs, which you have elaborated in your book also very efficiently. And as a stopgap solution, people are looking for things and they are going for this gig economy thing. One of the things that Deepinder and people kept saying is that, oh, it's an unskilled gig. It's not. Honestly, it's not an unskilled gig. You need skill to do whatever, even deliveries. But keeping that aside, I think, don't you think this is a stopgap solution to the joblessness problem?
So yes, but also the example analogy sort of you used, Manrega. Manrega was created specifically to kind of be a safety net.
Yes.
Right. Also, it's a public policy and everything.
Yes.
I don't think
it's a guarantee.
It's a guarantee, right? So I don't think any of these tech pros had the larger social good in mind when they created this, right? All of these aggregator or gig economy kind of things, these are also not their original innovation.
Yes.
They have seen this in the tech space in the US primarily. Then they have sort of imported it into sort of the Indian space, right? Very famously, Ola is like Indian Uber, like
yes.
whatever.
Yes.
That's what they have kind of done. Now, here is a fundamental difference why this is so lucrative to a tech company. Basically, startup ka full model kya hai? You show a small thing, you go to a funder and you say, look, this works here, so this will work in 500 cities.
Sure.
Right? You keep giving us money, we keep showing you, and there's some rates. So incredible profitability of somebody else's money that you're using is built into the kind of system. Now, agar aap ek restaurant ho, right? And if you've lived in, let's say, Bombay mein people have been delivering groceries nearby homes like for forever. Like it's an entrepreneurial thing. Your local kirana guy will just send a guy who's
sorry, just interrupting, but like if you remember, the old version of Zomato was basically menu cards that were scanned and put on an app. So you could like look up the menu cards. They had given the phone number of that restaurant. It was like a directory. You call them and they would send their own delivery guy. Every restaurant had a delivery guy. I came to Delhi in 2011 and I remember like regularly menu आता था, like दरवाजे के नीचे से आ जाता था कहीं से तो भी, and then you would order call करके. It was always there. Yeah, go on.
It was always there. And see what this actually did. It's a form of intrusion. दिस वेरी सिंपली टेक ब्रो बिजनेस, लाइक जहां पर आपकी जरूरत नहीं है, आप एक मार्केट क्रिएट करते हो,
Okay.
राइट? सो नाउ लाइक द मेन्यू कार्ड,
Because I
सिंस यू
was
सेड,
just going to counter you, like right now, only saying ki, oh, sure, like you are looking at the, let's say, the market in general, you are identifying a gap, which is what they say, and then you monetize that gap, and then you build a startup out of it, and that is how it
no,
works.
but
No.
since you said menu card, so like it just came to me, like आज तुम किसी रेस्टोरेंट में जाते हो, तुम्हें क्यूआर कोड ग्रीट करता
Yeah.
है इंस्टेड ऑफ मेन्यू?
Yeah.
उसी क्या जरूरत थी, मेरे को बताओ.
कुछ जरूरत
You
नहीं
can
है.
go to restaurants and say, I want a physical
I
menu
say that
and
all
walk
the
to the
time.
restaurant,
Yes.
because they don't give it. Now they created a digital menu card. They're gonna collect your numbers. In some cases, they send a menu to your WhatsApp,
Yes.
right? And the company, which is probably giving some incentive to the restaurant for harvesting your numbers, and it is selling it to somebody else.
Correct.
Maybe there are some intervening steps in between which
Yeah.
make it less shady, but yahi ho raha hai na. So this was a market, this was a business model nobody asked for, but they've created it,
Sure.
right? So ऐसा बहुत सारे examples है.
You know,
Now,
funny thing, I had a very massive argument in Bangalore about this. I went to this place, will not be named. Seemed fancy. I wanted like a lunch. I went there and they had this, which is like a QR code. Up scan karo. I'm like, physical menu though. They're like, sir, physical menu hai nahi hamare paas. I'm like, how is this possible? Like, you are a restaurant, give me a physical menu. Nahi hai. So ठीक है, I scanned it. It took me to that app where फिर बाद में वो waiter आया, उसने बोला कि I was like, वो पढ़ के बोला कि ये चाहिए. Waiter was like, नहीं सर, आपको वहाँ पे से ही order करना पड़ेगा. I'm like, तू आया क्यों फिर? मतलब like what is your job then essentially, right? Which is like, I will tell you what I want, you will get it for me, you will get me the bill, I will pay it. That is how it is supposed to work. No, पहले फोन नंबर डालो, फिर मेन्यू देखो, फिर ऐड करो, और फिर वो कार्ट में डालो, like you're ordering on a website, order it, then it will come. Wrong order आया by the way. वो सब करने के बाद तो फिर मैंने वेटर को बुलाया, भैया गलत ऑर्डर आया. देख, नहीं उनका ऑर्डर आपके पास आ गया और आपका ऑर्डर उधर चला गया. तो फिर क्यों किया? क्या इनएफिशिएंट चोमू सिस्टम बना के रखा है, which is causing me more irritation than anything else. Sorry, go on, rant over.
no, but that in a way is a nutshell for a lot of businesses. I will say this, that the delivery business is not this inefficient.
Yeah.
ठीक है. अब the point that I'm trying to make here is कि पहले रेस्टोरेंट्स का एक डिलीवरी गाय होता था, वो भी डिलीवर कर रहे थे, किराना स्टोर भी आपको डिलीवर कर रहा था, ठीक है? तो वो डिलीवरी बॉय जो था आपके घर में आ रहा था, वो किसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी था? किसी की तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी था ना. तो he or she like basically were associated with a particular establishment, they were part of that establishment, and मतलब अगर सोचो ऐसे रात को 11:30 बज रहे हैं, बहुत जोर की बारिश हो रही है, और वो पर्सन वहां पर है, और तुमने ऑर्डर किया मेरे को बिरयानी दो या व्हाटएवर, तो वो रेस्टोरेंट वाला खुद ही बोल देगा नहीं दे सकते, राइट? सो इन थ्रू दैट प्रॉक्सिमिटी or through some connection, there is some form of mediation.
Sure.
Right? When you sort of like make it corporate and faceless and make it tech mediated, you are actually trapped, right? Because this is not just about tonight. This will impact your livelihood tomorrow and day after and all that. So in many which ways, ऐसा करने की वजह से, right? अच्छा, अब there's the other question about like why restaurants got on this. This is a question nobody asks actually.
Yes.
Right. I had actually 2018-19 May, that time I was in Pune in this place called Bavdhan, and it was one of those new areas which were like, Punekars will never assume that anything outside the Pate area is Pune, but वो छोड़ दो. तो Bavdhan को तब वो city limits में मतलब वो urbanize हो रहा था.
Right.
It had new restaurants were coming up, so many of these places were not on the Swiggy, Zomato, and then they started coming on it. So I had actually done like a survey there for like a conference paper that I was presenting कि आपने से क्यों किया? Like a student of mine, she went around and like we did that project. So in many cases what they were saying is कि like you have to, like as a restaurant business, they created a kind of a system that you have to get on it, otherwise your earnings suffer.
Was that true?
Yeah. So this was, at least I'm telling about the findings of my space, but
Okay.
I'm saying I would be very surprised if it was a localized finding,
No,
right?
because like when you say it will suffer, does it mean that your business will go down or it will not be as good as the next restaurant which is on Zomato?
A little bit of both. So the
Okay.
only ones who can afford to maybe afford to nahi, who who don't really have to think like that are like really small joints,
Right.
right? जो वो चाउमीन बना रहा है सड़क पे वगैरह, क्योंकि he or she doesn't have to worry about their reputation. But if you're a good restaurant और तुम स्विगी जोमेटो में नहीं दिख रहे, ठीक है, तो कहीं ना कहीं ऐसा भी कुछ लोगों के दिमाग में आता है कि आर यू लेजिटिमेट और नॉट. इफ आई हैड अ रेस्टोरेंट बिजनेस व्हिच आई पुट सो मच मनी इन, व्हिच इज अ डिफिकल्ट बिजनेस टू स्टार्ट बाय द वे, आई एम गोइंग टू थिंक अबाउट ऑल ऑफ दीस थिंग्स,
Yeah.
राइट. आई एम ऑल्सो गोइंग टू थिंक लाइक हाँ डिलीवरी से मेरा ही ऑर्डर और है, ये तो
बढ़ेगा.
अच्छी बात है, मैंने डाल दिया. अब क्या है, वंस आई एम इनटू दैट क्लटर्ड डिलीवरी मॉडल, आई हैव टू पे मोर मनी टू बी फीचर्ड अप. आप एक्सक्यूज मी किस ऑर्डर में दिखाओगे, कब फीचर करोगे, तो हजार वेरिएशन से एक तरीके से कहीं से मैं भी उसमें फंस रहा हूँ,
Hmm.
राइट. और कहीं पर वो जो डिलीवरी वाला है वो भी फंस रहा है,
Absolutely.
राइट. तो इस और अगर आप डिलीवरी लेने वाले हो, ठीक है, कई बार आप भी फंस जाते हो,
Yeah.
ठीक है, बिकॉज यू आर ऑल्सो स्टक इन टू दिस, बट दे विल ट्रीट यू नाइसली.
Hmm.
इफ योर ऑर्डर गेट स्टक तो तुरंत नो क्वेश्चंस आस्क्ड, आपको वो दे देगा, रिफंड कर देगा, ये कर देगा. कुछ भी मिस्टेक होगा तो जनरली दे आर नाइस टू यू, राइट. बट दैट कर्टसी इज नॉट शोन टुवर्ड्स द अदर स्टेक होल्डर्स.
Restaurant owners and delivery people.
हाँ, तो सबसे ज्यादा तुमको मिलेगा, उससे कम एम्पैथी
ना
मिलेगा
ना,
रेस्टोरेंट में.
सबसे ज्यादा शेयर होल्डर को मिलेगा, फिर
शेयर
हमको
होल्डर
मिलेगा.
का तो पैसा ही है, तो
हाँ.
उसको तो मिलेगा ही. हाँ.
हाँ,
सो
हाँ.
so they've created this kind of a model. Now, where does the model actually make value for itself? It makes value by actually skimping off the delivery fleet.
Right.
अगर आपको उनको बेनिफिट देना पड़ जाए, then you're just an old school delivery business, like you've just hired all these people. It's why taxi companies will do aggregators
Right.
rather than owning, like buying 1,000 cars and getting them to ply on the street, right? Which is also a business model. You can't do it because then your costs go way up and it's no longer feasible for you, right? So कहीं ना कहीं इस मॉडल में ही ये बिल्ट इन है कि आपको ऐसे ही इसको चलाना पड़ेगा. नाउ यू आर वेरी राइट व्हेन यू से दिस इज अ स्टॉप गैप. There are many people in their 20s who are underemployed, financially precarious, which is almost all of India at this point, right? तो आपके घर में कोई बीमार है, कोई शादी है, कुछ है, तो आप सोच रहे हो कि I'll do 6 months Swiggy work or something like that. Now you have to put here's the real cost of it. You can leave it tomorrow, but that's not how life changes work. If you've got into it, you've put one life on hold, you've got into it, some money is coming in, but you're also kind of stuck in this cycle now. And it's not a cycle that you can suddenly jump off and go back to the meaningful thing, because it's now it takes on its own life.
Yeah, of course.
It's not a casual thing कि मैंने किया थोड़ा सा फिर मैं इधर.
No, that is exactly what they're trying to present it as, right? Which is like they're calling it a gig economy. Also, sorry, but one thing is they keep saying, all these founders who have been all defenders कि oh no, it's a gig economy, it's a temporary setting. आप शुरू कर दो आज, 2 दिन कर लो ये वीक में, फिर next 2 weeks में फिर करो मत करो, फिर देखेंगे, whatever. Not everybody works, like some 2.3% only work for like all available days, etc. Right? And on the other hand, they're also saying that, oh, please, these are job creators. Please don't say anything against job creators. They're not creating jobs. They are themselves saying they're not creating jobs. Sorry, just go on.
Jobs you can create, but I will ask what kind of jobs.
Yeah.
I don't have to be grateful.
Yeah,
as a citizen, I don't have to be grateful for that. Also, like, here's a very simple social heuristic to figure out why that whole gig is cool kind of thing. Show me one Ashoka University student who does Swiggy. इतना ही chill है तो कर क्यों नहीं रहे ना?
Yeah.
क्या आप बोल रहे हो कि like I know they're like from very rich and they don't need it, but कोई तो English speaking होंगे, middle class, lower middle class, जिनको ऐसा लग रहा होगा कि यार what, I can do this, like ठीक है, these are the same people who will, by the way, study abroad. वहां पर जाकर आप कॉफी शॉप, मैकडॉनल्ड्स में काम कर सकते हो.
Yes.
तो आप यहाँ पर क्यों नहीं कर रहे स्विगी? क्योंकि
Correct.
कहीं ना कहीं you know this is A, hard work, B, it is demeaning.
Demeaning.
Also, you kind of know that job really sucks,
Hmm.
right? We are not a country which is kind with its weather. It's too hot or too cold or it's raining all the time. You're out in the streets, AQI is bad. Like,
Traffic is
no,
terrible.
traffic is terrible. People drive like maniacs, and if you're like a delivery person, like everybody hates you. Like, you're the lowest in the food
Yes.
chain, right? So instinctively, people understand this, and they don't want to get into this. So anybody, Dipu or whoever is trying to present it like, oh well, it's not that much. Well, it is exactly what it is. ठीक है. अब दीपेंद्र गोयल एक दिन खुद जा सकता है ऐसे डिलीवरी के लिए, वो एक फोटो आप के लिए वो सब कर
वो
सकते हैं.
पीआर
That's
वीडियो
it.
अच्छा था. हाँ,
हाँ,
पीआर
वो
वीडियो था.
कर
वाह, खत्म हो गया
वो
वो.
हाँ, उससे कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. बट दैट इज द harsh reality. This is not something college kids are lining up to do,
Yeah.
right? For the extra money. So it that busts that lie. The other element of it is ki it's creating jobs. Yes, but here's the long term. Now, even from the idea of job creation, anybody who says it's creating jobs, आप तो यही बोल रहे हो ना कि खुश हो इंडिया में जॉब क्रिएशन हो रहा है. सो आई एम गेसिंग यू आर इंटरेस्टेड इन द लॉन्ग टर्म हेल्थ ऑफ इंडिया एज अ नेशन. Tell me, a nation of 24-year-olds, 23-year-olds slogging away on Swiggy, Zomato, Uber, Ola for 2-3 years, does that build a long-term sustainability, youth, whatever, human resource development?
Of
Like,
course
am I
not.
wrong in saying this? Like, what are you celebrating?
Yeah, exactly. And like that, see, that is where my problem comes in, where they categorize this as unskilled work also, right? Which is uh, one of the things I've been thinking a lot, right? Which is like what they present it as. What you said is absolutely correct. Instinctively, I know what you're saying is correct, but what they want to present it as is that, oh, look, there are these kids who are doing like a job or studying, and then they are on the side earning money as a gig from Zomato and Swiggy and whatever, right? But
ऐसा
it's
कहीं
not
नहीं हो रहा है.
though. It's
ऐसा कहीं नहीं हो
not.
रहा है.
Yeah.
नो 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 नो. ऐसा कहीं नहीं हो रहा है, बल्कि अर्बन कंपनी जो अर्बन क्लैप हुआ करती थी एक टाइम में, एंड ऑल, लाइक, again I'll say from Pune, because there was a pre-COVID, I was looking into some of these debates. I was trying to do some research around that. So I found like multiple people, like, who are coming from basically small town Maharashtra, Marathi speaking. They go to Pune University and they're trying, and they drop out and they started becoming urban clap, because उसको 20-25 हजार रुपए like 2 साल से कर रहा है अर्बन क्लैप में, इसको मेरे को मिल रहा है. ठीक है. अब now this person, I was asking, like, but you think this line of work goes for the next 30 years of your life? Because here's, like, I grew up in neighborhoods like that. Like, I come from a family like that. Logic क्या था? आप एक दुकान पकड़ लो, अब दुकानदारी करो. ठीक है. बाय द वे, दिस इज व्हाट माय फादर वांटेड मी टू डू, कि खिलौने आपको हम बैठा देंगे, आप जाके अभी दुकानदारी करो. So first you start out as a helper, you're delivering people, then slowly you rise in responsibilities. So let's say, like, it's a company which अब तो बहुत सारे हुए, कारपेंटिंग भेजता है आपको, या आपके घर पे एसी इंस्टॉलेशन कराना, इलेक्ट्रिशियन भेज रहा है, राइट? तो पहले हाउ इट यूज्ड टू हैपन, यू यूज्ड टू गो वर्क इन अ शॉप, you learned the trade under somebody, you shadowed with them, then they, like, so you're probably making slightly more money as a part of these apps, right? But in that setup, you're learning a trade, you're being set up, you're understanding many dimensions of the business, including customer acquisition, how to run this, you're building relationships, you become a family's electrician, you become a family's carpenter.
Yes.
Right? So आपका एक बहुत लंबा आपका, so it's a life. You can build a life around something like that, जो आपको अभी भी स्मॉल टाउन इंडिया में आप जाओगे थोड़ा तो आपको मिल जाएगा ये. ठीक है.
I'll tell you two things. Sorry, just interrupting. One is my mother-in-law is a big believer in this, which is so in Calcutta, she lives in like this old house in Calcutta, and it's like a really old house, like it's like 120 years old or some
At
shit.
every Calcutta.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, she has no option but to get one plumber, one electrician, which grandfather was also working on that house, and he's also working on that house, and they're like family. They have keys. They come in whenever, they go whenever, they have food in the kitchen, and almost like family, right? So they know that agar madam ko koi problem ho gaya hai, so they will be there, they will work the whole day, they will do whatever. When we went there, and I remember this, right? One of them was not available, and I was like, I will do urban clap, right? And I got someone from urban clap to do this. The person came, he looked at the house, is like कि हमसे ना हो पाएगा, and left. And so basically we called him back and कि सर 2 दिन रुक जाओ, मैं आ रहा हूँ, मुझे पता है क्या प्रॉब्लम है, फोन से ही पता चल रहा है क्या प्रॉब्लम है. I think that is what you're getting at, right? And the
No,
second thing, sorry, just the second
uh,
example I wanted to give. I have used urban clap even in Delhi, right? I also live in an old पुश्तैनी घर यहाँ पे. I have literally just used it once to get an electrician, to get a plumber. Now I just keep calling those people on their private numbers. And I'm like, आप ही रेट बताओ, आप ही सब करो, आप ही कर लो, जो भी आप बोलोगे वो कर लेंगे. And they show the love and they show the care that is required with this house. And they know instinctively कि क्या गलत हो सकता है, क्या नहीं हो सकता है. And they come and then they give you priority. And they insist कि urban clap से कभी मत बुलाना मुझे. Personally, privately phone करके बुला लेना. And I have like a roster of people who I call who have become my, like go-to people because of urban clap. So there are two sort of models at work here. Go on.
excuse me. So I don't want to romanticize these kind of associations कि वो ऐसे आ रहे हैं family.
No.
मेरा point दूसरा था. मेरा point था close to this only. But if you're thinking of it from the point of view of the electrician or the plumber,
Yes.
right? In this earlier non-app mediated model, I learned the trade, I build customers,
Yes.
I learn the thing, I grow a system, I have a territory. It's like very old school learning a trade, building a life around it.
Yes.
So as the years pile on, hopefully if everything goes fine, you're actually growing in your business and you have a chance of
Correct.
like little upward mobility.
Correct.
Now what the app reduces you to is the guy who just comes in, fixes and goes.
Yes.
Right? You don't actually like learn the other processes onto building your own business.
Correct.
That you'll never learn, right? Also, the chances of you building loyalty with a customer or whatever go down drastically. Now the question is, who asked for this and why was this done? Now, one of the major first markets where these sort of businesses took root was actually by elite Savarna urban professionals. ठीक है, मैं कहीं कानपुर और या बड़ौदा या कहीं से हूँ या भुवनेश्वर से हूँ. I have come to work in Gurgaon and I don't know the plumber here, I don't know the anybody here, so I will press a button. So it is, and look at the markers of these people, like they're put on a uniform, like it's very corporatized in a way that the employee who comes in sort of communicates the same semiotic iconography that is available in your corporate office kind of a space, right? So you have created that here. Once that took root, then these companies sort of like expanded and made it the norm.
Right.
Right. Now you can't do business otherwise. And part of the thing was they went to individual tradesfolk and they said, like, this way, the promise was very different. Right? If you go to the initial years, 7-8 years ago, when जब ये recruit कर रहे थे, कि promise was you come, you will have so much, आपको तो इतना मिल जाएगा, आपको इतना network मिले, whatever. किसी तरह इन्होंने, and plus the fear is also there. How can I compete with something which is technological and MNC?
Right.
I'm just one person, right? So I get on it, but the moment I get on it, I lose all autonomy. Now I've gone from a business owner to an employee. Which also I'm not an employee because I'm a gig worker.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. So from the point of view of job creation, which is the point that you were mentioning, many people are saying online, you've actually stripped away the agency, the personal growth, the entrepreneurial possibilities of a large section of youth by onboarding them onto these platform apps.
Correct.
ये तो एंगल हम कोई बात ही नहीं कर रहे.
Yeah.
आप इसी में खुश हो कि वो तो इंडिया का यूथ क्या करेगा, सिर्फ लाइक 20 साल बिरयानी डिलीवर करेगा. लाइक हाउ डज दैट hive of, like the person who's doing Swiggy, Zomato delivery or Urban Clap or Zepto, they are not going to start the next Zepto or Urban Clap.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
Right.
So that is one of the real human development crises that have kind of proliferated because of this.
Understood. Like long term growth के लिए कुछ नहीं. And also, okay, here I wanted to read out one quote
No,
by
just
Deepu.
before you do that, because the
Huh?
whole point is thank these guys, no, that they've created the jobs. Like
Yes.
I will say the opposite. Like these guys have like ruined the entrepreneurial possibilities and personal growth of an entire generation.
Yeah,
और इनके ऊपर
100%.
लिखा जाएगा, आप वेट करो, वेट 5-10 years, this period in time will be looked at from very different lens. All these people who think they're heroes today, they will all fall. Right now we are in the middle of it, so we don't see it like इसी में हम खुश हैं. Anyway, sorry, you were saying something. Huh?
No, I absolutely agree with what you're saying, because in a very theoretical way, a society develops when people skill themselves in a way that makes them more versatile. Let's put it that way, right? For example, let's assume like there is only a top percentile of people who are counted as geniuses, right, who will invent things, etc. But there is a large population there which adapts those inventions, and then they spread it. Like they are the basically social mobilizers. They are the ones who are learning skills, they are adapting to new technologies, and they are sort of professing the goodness or the badness or whatever else, and making sense of something that is going on. But for that to happen, you need that population, right? You need a population that has the aptitude and the understanding to actually adapt to changing climates and changing things. One of the big examples of this is our fall back into religion. I always thought that this is a big sign of that, which is that your brain is seeking easy, not understandable concepts, more like faith-based concepts rather than scientific rational thinking. Again, it might sound very theoretical. It's just a theory that I have been working on. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But what I was getting at was that there is an entire generation of people right now, and I've done videos on this, which does not think developing scientific thinking or rational thinking is a valuable thing to do anymore, which I think also feeds into this whole thing, which is that these people are being considered as job creators and someone who should be praised because they are creating value in a society and for shareholders. It doesn't make sense to me.
I have a slightly different point of view on
Please go
this.
on. Yes, I
It's your
wanted to.
theory.
Yeah.
It's your theory.
Yeah.
I mean, you are the author, and then you're right. Like because this is theory. I absolutely I don't think that people were rational to begin with. There's no comeback to religion. They never left it.
Fair,
Okay,
fair, 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 fair.
it was never left. And the only thing I think that has happened is Gen Z does not give a shit. Elite Savarna Gen Z की बात कर रहा हूँ, does not give a shit about appearing woke. And I'm talking in the younger Gen Z, not the slightly older who are closer to uncles, aunties themselves. क्योंकि अभी वो भी 27, 28 के हो गए. I'm saying people who are in college now, right? जो 19, 20, 21 year old आ रहे हैं, वो बहुत खुश है. वो religious fanaticism और अल्ट्रा नेशनलिज्म में. बट मेरा पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है कि ये पहले भी था. हमारा जो so a lot of portion in my book is actually talking about
Yes,
that.
yes.
कि this our generation, which is this very unique generation, which like came into adulthood, early adulthood, at a time in the early 2000s that the market forces were creating opportunities for us. Okay, and there was a great sort of a westernization in terms of popular culture which had happened.
Yes.
Like, so all these sitcoms are coming through and all. So like I was earlier joking, but actually it's a very serious point. Friends as a show ended up giving a personality to an
Correct.
entire generation of people.
Correct, absolutely, 100%.
Right. Okay, so wo from Joey doesn't share food or like something as simple as proposals. Because that was a big part of the Friends TV show. I'm sure there were others, but like, हमारे यहाँ सगाई होती है. सगाई में रिंग एक्सचेंज होती है.
Yeah.
फिर एक रिंग का प्रपोजल भी है. प्रपोजल के वेडिंग शूट्स हो रहे हैं. Like, I see the butterfly effect of culture in many which ways.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think this generation from about 2005-6 to about 2015-16, ये जो 10 year का period था, They took a lot of their talking points from um, a very New York, Brooklyn, liberal, almost a yuppie kind of a टॉकिंग पॉइंट्स राइट
Yes.
तो उस टॉकिंग पॉइंट्स में कहीं ना कहीं एक वो कोट अनकोट प्रोग्रेसिवनेस था कि आपको ऐसे बोलना है यू हैव टू बी दिस रिलीजन इज बैड ये वो फलाना तिमकाना राइट आप मेरे को बता दो ना लाइक विच ऑफ दोस पीपल लाइक आई हैव सीन सो मेनी एग्जांपल्स बिकॉज आई वेंट फ्रॉम स्टूडेंट टू टीचर नो तो मैंने मेरे को याद है जो लोग आज मतलब अखंड व्रत वगैरह रख रहे हैं कैंपस में वो चेक वगैरह बन के घूमते थे
Ah.
राइट एंड इन लाइक ये ट्रेजेक्टरी पूरा हुआ है I know people who went from being like punk feminist on campus to like wine auntie at like who's saying beta ऐसे मत करो और वैसे मत करो
Same.
तो that is not a new generation. It was a look our generation was trying out in our youth. We don't see the social utility of it anymore because culture
Interesting.
doesn't reward it anymore.
Interesting. So you're
And
saying
what-
that basically this whole scientific rational thinking didn't exist to begin with. Now that
In a caste society, how can it
how
exist?
can it exist? Yeah, yeah, true, true.
तो सिंपल बात है जो मतलब ओपन हो गया ना अभी सोशल मीडिया में लोग आके बनिया मीम बना रहा है गुजर मीम बना रहा है जाट मीम बना रहा है तो आप ओपन कर दिया है बट पहले नहीं था क्या कि
हाँ
ये
ना।
मीम से थोड़ी आया है ये मीम पे आना इज अ बाई प्रोडक्ट ऑफ व्हाट ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग
Understood.
a caste society is not a rational society to begin with because one of my litmus tests for this is every time I start also thinking कि हाँ ऐसे क्या हम लोग critical थे नहीं भाई I grew up in an era जहाँ पर the most educated and the most progressive people were the bitterly the most anti-reservation people.
That's very true.
Right?
That's
Which is not a
actually
rational
true.
position at all.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So I don't think that there is a return to sort of a religion. We've always been irrational. The only thing we've done is that there is no longer a social reward for being progressive, which also is a byproduct of our culture becoming thakela. Because we've been to like places like this in our youth, I'm sure. You go to a house party, what do you do? I was saying this in my podcast recently. You go to a house party, what do you do? I like traveling and everything. You've heard those answers
Yes,
for 10 years.
yes.
Even the ways a person can be interesting, we know it. What do? I do a little bit pottery. I got into running. I do baking. Everybody's dream is the same, to open a bookstore, to go to Goa, open a cafe. Everyone want. So you've heard this. The first 5 times you heard it, it was original. अब 10 साल से आप सुन रहे हो, everybody is the same version of the same thing, right? तो वो culture भी थक गया है, थकेला हो चुका है, it's fatigued. So
Right.
of course the youth
उसका
will.
social utility चला गया है basically.
तो a 19-year-old sees no interest in that. Or a 19-year-old will be like, like we will take whatever else is there. So we are truly uncles and aunties. So this is in many which ways the idea that we are moving towards simpler things. Actually we never became complicated to begin with. That is the core which our tech bros supremely kind of personify.
Coming to tech bros, yes. Thank you for the transition because I was going to read out a quote by Deepinder Goyal. So just for people who don't know, Deepinder Goyal is the founder of Zomato, which is now Eternal. It also has Blinkit, and it is one of the biggest quote unquote gig employers. And also, we are specifically focusing on this one because he is the one who has been the most vocal. And I think when it comes to discourse, everybody's been talking about him because he did like long ass threads on Twitter. You can go look at it. I'm just going to read out some selective bits of it because I wanted to hear what you think. First thing he said, which struck me as insane, was we have one thought: if a system were fundamentally unfair, it would not consistently attract and retain so many people who choose to work within it. This is his argument where people are saying that, oh, you're exploiting your gig workers, you're not paying them well, they have no health insurance, they have no safety, they have no stability. This is his answer. Oh, if the system was so unfair, would so many people work in it? What do you say?
I wish he was saying this cynically.
Yes, he was not.
See that's the sad part. I wish, see, like Bollywood में तुम कई बार जाते हो, ये जो PR होता है, these people don't mean what they're saying, but they're saying because it's good for their brand, good for their thing, good for their film, good for their sponsors, whoever, right? In that blatant hypocrisy, I find joy. क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं उसमें होप है कि तुमको पता है कि तुम जो बोल रहे हो, you don't actually believe in it, you just don't want to upset the apple cart, which is fine, which I can sort of get behind, right? What I wish he had just come and thought to himself ki, you know what, this is a crisis, I want to say something which, like, I have to defend my company, right? That's not what this seems like. It seems like he actually believes in this, right? Which is so sad, because it tells you that the so-called most visionary people who are creating these great companies and like literally have a structural impact on the lives of so many people, these people are really, really stupid. Right? They're like it's infantilely juvenile, sad level of dumb logic, right? And that's worrying and sad. So I wish he had said it cynically. मैंने उसके arguments पढ़े, उसके सारे supporters के ये जो भी है, it shows you that all of these people, they came up around that period 2010 के बाद. They were hailed as visionaries.
Which they were, yeah.
They were not.
Matlab, they were hailed as visionaries, is what I was saying. Yeah.
They read way too many puff pieces about them being daring disruptors or something. Now they have believed their own mythology. Right? They're marks for themselves. They believed their own mythology. अब उनको ऐसा लग रहा है कि जो उनको critique कर रहा है is like a negative influence, because inside their simplistic minds, they are a force of good. They are trying to change India one startup at a time, value they're building, and all of these people with negative mindsets are coming. The only way they will consider your opinion is if you are praising them or if you are millionaire adjacent.
Yes. Their own social class.
क्योंकि फिर एक और आर्गुमेंट ये भी आएगा ना सोशल मीडिया में, he created Zomato, first you create then you say.
Yes, precisely, yeah.
नहीं, कूदा तो मैं कुतुब मीनार से भी नहीं हूँ. पता तो मेरे को वो भी है कि अगर मैं कूदूंगा तो मैं मर जाऊंगा. ठीक है, तो ये तो कोई लॉजिक नहीं हुआ ना कि like you haven't done this. But and I'm not saying that everybody who's critiquing these people is coming from a good place. Of course, there are all kinds of people on social media and everywhere else. But you have to accept the possibility that some people who are coming out and saying things are not doing it for the joy of it, are not stupid. They also have something to say, which is a reality these people fundamentally cannot grasp.
Yeah.
Right? And it would be funny had they not been in such structurally important positions.
You know, the thing, see, I get where you're coming from, because when I first read this, I immediately thought of something like a zamindari system, honestly, which is like I think zamindars must be making this same argument, which was like 80 years ago or whatever, when Nehru was abolishing the entire system and distributing land and effecting reform. There was a lot of opposition to this. I'm pretty sure some zamindar during that time must be, oh, but if this was so bad, would so many people be participating in this structure? Or, for example, caste, just generally the caste system that we have, if it was so bad, would so many people be participating in it? It doesn't make sense. I mean, like, the same logic just immediately falls apart when you apply it anywhere, literally anywhere.
See, wasn't it Zomato which did the veg only fleet experiment?
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, it
Zomato or
didn't. It
Swiggy?
didn't
I think
work,
it was
right?
Zomato.
Yeah,
I think pretty sure it was Zomato. I can just
I think
Google
it
it
was because they had like this
because
green uniform and green thing.
veg non-veg
Yeah, yeah.
controversy. Because I wrote about this and I think I did a episode about it. Yes. Now here's one thing that you need to think about this thing. Okay. What that मैंने इसके बारे में लिखा है. What did that controversy tell you? For a company like of this scale to conceptualize that they are going to do a wedge separate fleet, the amount of work hours they would have had to devote to figure out separation of fleets, logistics, how would they work it out, like algorithms, how would it show on the app, down to the uniforms. We're talking weeks, if not months of work.
Sure.
Then he goes on Twitter and the plan gets destroyed in 2 days.
Yes.
This idiot did not learn from that I wasted weeks, if not months, of corporate manpower into building something which did not pass a 24-hour Twitter test.
Yep.
Right? Unless he thought there's nothing wrong with my plan.
People are
These
idiots.
people are idiots and they created too much negativity around it. If that was his takeaway, right, which I am very inclined to think was his takeaway, which is we should then as a nation be worried that these are the people in these positions. Well, I don't need to go so far. He sticks like a bloody like temple thing on his head and he walks around
Oh
like a
yeah,
bio.
yeah. I was so there is this podcast he did in response. I think I haven't seen it. I think Raj Shamani ke साथ where he's wearing like something यहाँ पे which is supposed to
Yeah.
be an anti-gravity mechanism which increases your age or some shit.
All these tech bros are obsessed with becoming eternal.
Yeah, like his
They want to live
company.
forever. They want to download their consciousness into some bionic thing and all. Like why? Like you're so boring already. Why the fuck would you want to live forever? Like that's the other thing, right?
Yes.
So अब उसका जो भी logic है. Now my coming back to what we were saying, like my point with Dipu is very simple. ठीक है कि तुमने ये नहीं सीखा कि social variables are not oppositional to business, are actually key to running a sustainable, profitable, long-term business. If you didn't learn it, that veg only controversy should have taught you.
Yeah.
Right? We deal with something as core as kirana and food. We need to understand what this is, right? Didn't do it. And here we are. He's going out, like, I think one of the tweets he gave was like, historically, the consuming class was separated from the people
Yeah,
who
yeah.
toiled.
I was going to read two statements. One was
Go for it, go for it.
yeah.
It's
First
quite
statement.
poetic.
First statement that he said again something problematic was let's not get swept up by narratives pushed by vested interests. I mean the one you were saying, the negativity class, which is like critics and whatever, they have vested interests.
क्या वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट होगा यार?
No, I'm also very confused with
अरे मैं
this.
खुद महीने में 20 बार ऑर्डर करता हूँ जोमेटो से.
Yeah.
उसके अगेंस्ट मेरा क्या वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट होगा यार? Like this is a very strange. मतलब दो ही तो ऑप्शन है मेरे पास, स्विगी है या जोमेटो है, तो मेरा क्या ही वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट होगा उनके अगेंस्ट में?
I don't understand also because see the thing is I felt this. I've spoken to a few people now and because Savarna elite I know what sort of I think you know what sort of responses I might have heard is a lot of people were not even participating in this discourse because यार मैं भी तो use करता हूँ यार, मैं भी तो Zomato order करता हूँ यार, मैं भी तो Blinkit order करता हूँ यार, तो I guess I am also benefiting from this system. So there is some guilt associated with this ki I am the one who is also exploiting this system. How can I criticize it?
You were saying something, no? How people were critical thinking and they're going away from it.
Sorry. Yeah,
Case in
point
point.
well. Case in point. Point well.
भाई अकल ही नहीं है अब. मतलब मैं क्या बोलूं? Like I am at this point.
Sorry, that was a very good comeback. I love it. Go on.
Like ये कोई logic हुआ? Like I'm telling you, like a lot of times we live in a very strange moment where people have lost genuinely lost. They're not stupid. They've lost the capacity to contextualize things. Okay, the word nuance gets thrown around a lot. Nobody understands what this means actually. Right? Everything is a spectacle or it is nothing. Right? Guilt is either total or not there. You have total guilt and then you do a act of contrition and then it is done. So I can't say anything on Zomato because I use it. I can have a conflicted position on this. I call it my Shah Rukh Khan position, okay? And this is the part which I get always abused for, which is very funny to me because I love Shah Rukh Khan, but I cannot tolerate Shah Rukh Khan.
What?
And both of these statements are equally true. Right?
Sorry, explain. This is okay. Explain.
Huh. I love Shah Rukh Khan, but I can't stand Shah Rukh Khan.
Okay.
Okay, I love Shah Rukh Khan because, and I'll connect Shah Rukh Khan to Swiggy, but like for instance, I love Shah Rukh Khan because mera bachpan hai wo. Right, I grew up with that thing. I grew up with that whole series of movies. Dil To Pagal Hai. When I was a early teenager, like I saw that movie. I fell in love with Karishma Kapoor and like Shah Rukh's whole thing. That whole arc, like Mohabbatein, I can still recite all the dialogues. Like there was a dialogues cassette, Mohabbatein, back in the days to come. Like I'd bought that. Dil Se, like it abhi, like Dil Se has been rediscovered. When Dil Se was released, it was a flop.
Yeah.
Right. But as a kid, like, we had those slam books, things like I used to write my favorite film was Dil Se and Gladiator. Because I wanted to write one English movie, okay? And I used to write spelling of Gladiator wrong. किसी ने मेरे को बोला उसमें TER नहीं होता है. तब आता नहीं था इतना English. तो like for me it was that. Like I uncritically, uncringingly loved Devdas.
Yeah.
Right. I thought Ashoka was also a great film. Because I was in that zone, right?
Sure.
I used to stand in it. So for me, those are core parts of my life. Those are core parts of my memory. Right? Core parts of me growing up. Right? So I love Shah Rukh Khan. I can't ever deny that. Right? And that's not like in the past.
Sure.
Because past
it's a form. It's a part of your identity almost.
The past never goes away. The past is always present.
Yeah.
Right? So there is that. So I love that. But I also got incredibly fatigued and tired with this kind of post-dawn Shah Rukh machine. When he was actually really hated, he had go away heat. Like whole Wankle Boodhe Mar, he was making like really bad films.
Yep.
People didn't like him. There was a whole controversy, rumor about like his thing with they who shall not be named.
Yes, I remember.
Right, all kinds of things. He had serious go away heat, and constantly he was trying to redefine himself. People were saying, "Oh, he should do films like Swades and this." He was trying everything. He couldn't do it. Then he went away, and then culture shifted. I don't think he did anything different. I think the people of my generation, of our generation, who grew up with Shah Rukh, suddenly our world around us started collapsing.
Right.
And Shah Rukh, like last time we felt positive about our world and safe and like things were going on the up and up and India is coming up, was when Shah Rukh was Shah Rukh and Sachin was playing. And Friends was still new. Right? There's a great retreat to nostalgia. So I see these patterns like that. I could be wrong.
Sure.
So for me, I love Shah Rukh Khan, but I can't stand him. These are both equally true and valid statements. And this is not hypocrisy. This is duality. Nuance bolo ya duality bolo. And duality is a very key part of the human condition. You have to process it.
Two things can be true at the same time. Yeah.
At the same time, right? Similarly, you can use Zomato and also have a problem with it because every aspect of consumption is going to implicitly also have a problematic thing built into it.
Sure.
Right. So this idea that because we just came out of this moment in culture where we all went down this rabbit hole where everybody is trying to do everything ethical and we try to create a very sterile sort of a non-offensive human persona. And drove everyone mad, right? And now we are coming on the other side of it. If there's one thing we should have learned from that moment, right, is that there is duality. Now, अगर किसी को इतना basic point नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, so then what were you saying about critical thinking?
You go. Okay, fair.
Right.
Fair, fair,
तो
fair.
नहीं है,
No,
हाँ.
I understand where you're coming from because the thing that I struggle with, even with the political commentary I do constantly, right, is I think it's the same thing, right, which is labeling in a very strange way, right, which is like if you are saying anything against a particular policy, they would be like, oh, you're anti-BJP, you're anti-this, 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 because it can't be a situation where I might, be, let's say, criticizing Congress, but also not hate them. Right, the condition seems to be now that, oh, you need to have like this one track mind where all things need to align with your opinion, and your opinion needs to align with that particular side as well. So it's like this
No, but your
football.
opinion is not good to begin with if that's how you think. There can be multiple things which can be simultaneously correct, and there is conflict in it, and you can be uneasy about it. And वो uneasiness को आपको लेकर बैठना है. Right, that you have to sit with it. There is no resolution instantly. Like one of the questions I keep getting asked in Meet the Savarna events is, तो solution क्या है? How do we fix this? So, and my answer is like, it is which no pleases nobody, which is like, if I knew the answer, if it was a switch, I would have pressed it. Sometimes you have to sit with the discomfort. Since you mentioned Rahul Gandhi, BJP, I was like, look, you have to understand that even within a machine like BJP, right? Not everybody who's voting for it or working for it is a ghoulish person who's sort of like cheering on, death squads.
Yeah.
And similarly, on the other side of it, there'll be many people within the Congress or opposition who are actually like that.
Yeah.
Right. These are both statements which kind of work in that sense. So politics and social reality, one has to be a little complex about it. Like, but we came out through that moment in culture, no? Like, I eat the rich, capitalism, we are sharing those, kind of memes. So then how can I consume? So, that's kind of a thing. Like, so duality has to be there. So one can consume and from Zepto or Blinkit, which also ties into another very close point which we didn't cover, which is like to this, like one of the discourse points is कि tip करो.
Tip
तुमको
karo.
इतना problem है तो tip करो.
Yeah, tip karo,
Right.
yes.
But the problem is not individual charity. Problem is structural.
Yeah, of course. Like,
Right.
why should I subsidize the shittiness of the company with my own money? Like, when the actual structural problem that exists in the company is not being fixed by the company, they are
But it is
instead
also
making you feel guilty कि तुम और दो ना पैसा उधर, तुम डालो ना और पैसा उधर.
नहीं तो फिर let's do it. Like every time I tip 10 rupees, Zomato matches me.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it.
I'll start paying 100 rupees tomorrow. Do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Right. तो वो तो आप नहीं कर रहे हो. So this is the problem with it कि oh, you don't want to tip but you want Zomato. Yes. Yes, and maybe you're also right if you say but you can afford to. Yeah. I can afford to pay 50 rupees tip. I don't.
Yeah.
Right. Sure, there is a duality there, but I'm not Zomato. I'm not in this position. If I am, hold me up to those standards.
Yeah.
The standards change and there is duality, and all of those things are correct.
Absolutely. Acha, final statement, then we will go to question answers from members. Members, you can also leave super chats and I will prioritize those. There are already a few which I will place before Ravikant, and I have read a few of your chats. So, okay, final thing which I think you also wanted to talk about was, I'm going to read this in full because, oh my god. This is what Deepinder said. For centuries, class divide kept the labor of the poor invisible to the rich. Factory workers toiled behind walls, farmers in distant fields, domestic help in the back rooms. The wealthy consume the fruits of that labor without ever seeing the faces of the fatigue behind it. No direct encounter, no personal guilt. The gig economy shattered that invisibility at unprecedented scale. Suddenly, the poor aren't hidden away. They are at your doorstep. The delivery partner is handing over your 1,000 rupees plus biryani, late night groceries, quick commerce essentials. You see their exhaustion, their polite smile masking frustration with life in general. This is the first time in history at this scale that the working class and consuming class interact face to face, transaction after transaction. Yada yada yada. Not going to read the full thing, but that is the gist of it. Yeah. I was sorry. First, let me like express my frustration at this when I read this. Bhai, I don't understand who these people are anymore because in my head I was imagining Deepinder sitting in his Lamborghini Gallardo, fifth one I think, typing out this shit using ChatGPT. And he has a very 200 crore flat in Gurgaon and probably always had, because if this is his opinion, what you said earlier, right, about things being scary because they have such opinions, I feel like this sort of captures what you were saying in a better way. Because if this dude thinks that Zomato is the one that is showing him poverty or showing wealthy people poverty, I don't know what to say to that, honestly. Go on.
Again, I wish he was saying this cynically.
Yes, yes. This one, yes.
See, he's not wrong about one thing, which is that historically, the consuming class, the elites, the labor is obviously hidden from them. But my point is, isn't it still? वो तुम
Yeah.
आपको ऑर्डर दे रहा है तो वो लाइक डू यू नो वेयर द कोल इज माइंड डू यू नो
No, but
वेयर द रोड्स
also,
आर कमिंग
sorry,
एक्चुअली तो
as
वहां से आ रहा है ना
no, as a counterpoint, I think this brings us back to that urban clap example also, right?
या या
Which is like, it isn't their app and like gig economy actually dehumanizing people even more and turning them into just bodies that are moving based on digital signals and algorithms and what they are telling us to do? Because it just
yes
they're
also
just biological machines.
also think about this. In many cases, I'm not saying all, in many cases, especially in the big cities, Delhi, Gurgaon, Noida, Bombay, Bangalore, in any of the Hyderabad, whatever, who's actually doing this work? In many cases, these are migrant workers,
Sure.
right? One of the big failures of the Indian economic dream, Renaissance, which these people apparently think that they have brought about, is the fact that Darbhanga could not become the next metropolitan city. ठीक है Jharsuguda could not become the next city, right? Our tier 3 cities did not become tier 2, our tier 2 cities did not become tier 1. There's a reason why lakhs of people, tens upon thousands of people, lakhs of people go from small towns in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar and Madhya Pradesh and Odisha, and they go to these big cities and they're making a livelihood doing all kinds of work. So when that person comes and delivers my food, I'm actually still not confronted with the horrors of his existence, because the horrors of his existence are in Munger,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
So just because they're coming in the middle of the night, I don't think Dipu realizes that his workforce is often not native to the city, or even if they're native to the city, in a city like Bombay or even in a city like Delhi, आप कहाँ रहते हो? Right? The horrors are not visited upon them.
Yeah.
Actually, I like Manu Joseph's book on this thing, because he framed it like that. Why don't the poor kill us? If you have to live in that slum and you come into a gated community in Noida, जहाँ पर आपका वो नो नेबरहुड ब्रोकर ऐप जो भी है, ये सब ऐप है, वो आपका आधार कार्ड ले रहा है, फोटो ले रहा है, सिक्योरिटी गार्ड आपसे बदतमीजी से बात कर रहा है, फिर आप जा रहे हो, एक सर्विस लिफ्ट है, चढ़ रहे हो तो चढ़ रहे हो तो चढ़ रहे हो 15 माले ऊपर, 5 सेकंड के लिए दरवाजा खुलता है, एंड इनसाइड यू सी लाइक दिस lavish हाउस, and you're giving them like a pizza or something, and then you're coming back down, right? You got a glimpse of his world. He didn't get
He
a
didn't
glimpse
get a
of
glimpse of
your
your
world.
world. Yeah.
Right. So conceptually, what Deepinder is saying is also not true.
Yep.
But the funniest part, and it would be funny if it was not sad, the funniest part of this is that he has convinced himself that gig economy is leading some kind of a social crusade. Like it's some great social equalizer, right? And it's easy to make fun of these statements, except this is how he genuinely sees the world, which also is so terribly stupid, which means he's doing business in a marketplace which he absolutely does not understand on a socio-cultural level. Right. This is a great line to give in a party where all the other guests are idiots like him.
WhatsApp uncles.
They're WhatsApp uncles, or great line to give to interns, great line to give in some of
LinkedIn.
these LinkedIn. लिंक्डइन पे भी ये सब नहीं लिखते हैं, क्योंकि अभी लिंक्डइन भी ऐसा नहीं रहा मेघनाथ, लिंक्डइन में भी बहुत लोग लिख देते हैं नीचे आके दिस इज नॉट ट्रू।
Good.
अभी
Good. I haven't
लिंक्डइन
been
इज
there for a while, but good.
नहीं नहीं लिंक्डइन में लोग ऐसे अब लिख देते हैं आके कि यू नो व्हाट आर यू सेइंग, दिस इज नॉट ट्रू। अब वो हो गया है थोड़ा भसड़ हैज कम देयर, बट आई एम जस्ट सेइंग कि दैट इज सो फंडामेंटली फ्लॉड। एंड देन लाइक अदर ये कुणाल शाह वगैरह, दे आर कमिंग इन cheering this on,
Yeah.
which means this is not one stupid person, this is an entire gaggle, a collection, a galaxy, an Avengers team up of all stupid people who are collectively convinced of their own greatness.
Yes.
These are the champions of the economy, the captains of capitalism. They're the archbearers of social equality. They are the revolution bringers, and we must celebrate them. My God, what narcissism! Truly, truly. And again, I'll go back to what we started with. He is responding to social media critiques, not
Yes.
the actual strike.
Yes.
उसको स्ट्राइक से 2 पैसे का नहीं फर्क पड़ रहा है, ठीक है, बल्कि उसको इससे प्रॉब्लम है कि आप सोशल मीडिया में जब गाली दे रहे हो गिग इकोनॉमी को, तो फिर एक्चुअली उसी कंपनी का शेयर मार्केट नीचे उतर रहा है। या शेयर मार्केट की जरूरत नहीं है, दीज आर फ्रजाइल ईगोड मैन चिल्ड्रन who just want their cult worship. वो शो था ना बिलियंस, they want to be the hero of billions. Inside their head they are the hero of billions. इसी ने बोला था ना कि मेरे को पैसे दो मेरा इंटर्न बनने के लिए, something like that. ये इसी का था ना।
Yeah.
He is not a real person. Inside his head he is a character.
Main character energy.
हाँ, he's Bobby Axelrod from that show. He's Elon Musk, or what he thinks Elon Musk is.
Or Sam Altman, for that matter, who believes in his own myth and his mythology, essentially. They created a mythology and now they believe in their own thing. He's also Modi in a lot of ways, because all this vested interest and all this thing is a bit...
For the record, please arrest this guy. His opinion, not mine. माननीय मोदी जी, प्रधानमंत्री जी
Shri
के
Sir,
बारे में
Adarniya Supreme Leader Modi ji, the first of his name, okay? But yeah, I agree with that. Sorry, just to like end this. Please get the book. Please get the book. Please also follow his channel. I'm going to do like a collab thing with you, Ravikant, and we will it will appear on your channel as well. But thank you so much for doing this, honestly. And this is my first video of the year, so thank you so much. And I hope, do you have any New Year's resolution before we go?
Not really, actually.
No.
Uh,
You're past that now.
I'm sorry, I'm boring like that. No, I think my New Year resolution is mostly I want to drink less, maybe like get off alcohol a little bit, get healthier. I'm 30 now. Touchwood, abhi tak kuch nahi hua, but like it's now cutting to close.
Yeah.
This is the age where you should like sort things out. So I think I'm gonna try and focus a little bit on. I haven't been running in 2 years because I was in like Telangana and it was not. So I would like to get back to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's nothing much as such.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Like, live healthier, which is like basically 99% of everyone's resolution, which is also my resolution. So I get it. Okay, Ravikant, I'm going to end the recording here, and now we are going to answer some members' questions before I let him
All
go.
right.
Yes. Bye bye, Janta, YouTube Janta.